At Quintrell, where we focus on tasting menus and where we focus on sourcing the best ingredients that we possibly can all the way through, using A5 Wagyu is definitely a luxury, but it's also something that you can definitely trust as a product. And you can really tell that these small farms hold true to their craft and create a nuanced product that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, and there's nothing like this anywhere else in the world. Obviously, I don't have a direct link to any of these farms and purveyors in Japan, so one thing that the Wagyu shop does really well is that it finds all these farmers so that I then have access to what they are producing. They've been importing A5 Wagyu for over a decade, so what that means is that they've built really strong, lasting relationships, and that ensures that we're going to be able to get this product consistently. So this is an A5 Wagyu tataki, where we've seasoned and seared the outside and sliced it really thin. We've given it a salad of different cucumbers in many forms. So we have some raw slicing cucumbers, fresh lemon cucumber. We also have a little bit of nectarine and some cured cucumber as well. And we're going to dress the whole dish with some ponzu and some sesame, some smoky trout roe, and that rounds out the dish really nicely. It's really nice to work with such a high quality product. When you're slicing into the meat, you can really just feel how malleable the fat is. This is what makes this A5 so special. When it comes down to using A5 in a raw application, it's really nice because it has such soft mouthfeel to the point where it almost melts in your mouth because that fat is so soft and so delicious. This is our A5 Wagyu beef tartare. We give it a light smoke because I think that there's a high element of fat in this dish, and that smoke plays really nicely with the fat content. And then when we're done, we're going to dress it with mustard seeds, pickled red onion, pickled celery, Worcester sauce, Dijon mustard, and olive oil and lemon juice, at which point we put it on a nice piece of focaccia that we've grilled. We're going to dress it with an egg yolk jam. We then cover it in a really lovely Gouda cheese and some fresh squash blossoms from the farmer's market. These two dishes are just kind of a representation of the versatility and quality of the A5 Wagyu that we have gotten from the Wagyu shop.
Vegan cooking is really fun for me. I'm really enjoying the creativity that comes along with putting a twist on classic dishes that are approachable by everybody, but eliminating any animal byproduct. I'm excited to share this tasting menu showcasing cottonseed oil in so many versatile ways. Cottonseed oil is perfect because it has a high smoke point for frying and for sauteing, and it's good for baking and vinaigrettes because it has a very neutral flavor. For the first dish, I fried my leek rings in a delicate tempura batter that was made with an egg replacer. This tempura batter is very light and flaky and crisp, and this oil allows it not to become heavy. Instead of coming out with a really heavy aioli, using the cottonseed oil with the avocado allows you to really take on all the flavors, the essence of the avocado, the lemon juice, the Dijon. It's really light, aromatic, and you taste all the delicate flavors. For the next course, the mini Jamaica tostadas. The Jamaica flowers are rinsed until the water runs clear. That removes the bitterness from the flour. Then I saute in cottonseed oil with onions, garlic, ancho chili, and a little bit of seasoning. The dish is served with a sunflower crema, topped with cilantro and radish, and Aleppo pepper. Jamaica may seem unusual to be using as a mock meat substitute, but it's a perfect texture you can build on with whatever flavor profiles you would like. This is a vegan kale Caesar salad. I sear the bread with cottonseed oil to get a perfect crust, finishing it in the broiler with nut-based Parmesan cheese. This is one of my favorite dressings. I love making a play on a classic. We bring in the fresh lemon juice, Dijon, garlic, nutritional yeast, what brings in that cheesy Parmesan taste, nori to add a little bit of that umami anchovy flavor, and a cottonseed oil just to bring it all together. Using the cottonseed oil allows a very smooth, silky mouthfeel and all the aromatics to bloom. I top the salad with mustard flowers, marinated red onions, and nut-based Parmesan cheese. This is fried polenta with lion's mane and maitake mushrooms. I marinated lion's mane mushroom and maitake mushrooms and fresh garlic, cottonseed oil, and oregano. I made a rosemary polenta cake, chilled that overnight and cut that, skewered it and fried it in cottonseed oil. This gives you a really crispy, clean polenta bite. I infused cottonseed oil with raspberries, making a raspberry oil. I made that into a raspberry rosemary vinaigrette. I tossed shaved purple cabbage and baby arugula for the garnish. I garnished with raspberry dust and fresh raspberries just to bring all the flavor profiles together. This is one of my favorite plays on a waffle. This pumpkin vegan waffle is phenomenal. I paired it with a whipped cashew maple custard. I garnished with powdered sugar, kumquat berry compote, and molasses crystals. This dish may sound heavy when you think of waffles. This dish is not that at all. It's light, airy, and crisp. The cottonseed oil allows for that texture to take place. These dishes showcase how you can use cottonseed oil in a beautiful, light, bright tasting menu.
I'm Chef Ben Diaz, and today I'm working with Chairman's Reserve Premium Pork Shank and Cushion. My first dish is a carnitas dish. For this one, I chose a pork cushion because it's super tender and it falls right off the bone. For the spice rub, I chose oregano, cumin, crushed bay leaf, and smoked paprika. Next, I combined OJ and milk to render off the meat and create a beautiful combination of flavors. I then vacuum sealed the pork, sous vide it at 171 degrees for 6 hours. For the sauce, I charred up some tomatillos, guajillos, and jalapenos. I removed the carnitas, add them to a bowl, toss it with that beautiful tomatillo guajillo marinade. The flavor is phenomenal, texture amazing. For the plate up, I chose this beautiful cast iron, get a little bit of rustic kind of feel to it. I layered the carnitas on there, and then I paired it with these amazing pickled red onions, these beautiful radishes, and some garnishes. Bulgogi is beautiful, delicious Korean barbecue. So what I did is I did a combination of sesame seed, chili paste, and soy. For this dish, I used the pork cushion because again, super tender, it lends itself to a beautiful braising texture and techniques. I vacuum sealed it, sous vide it at 180 degrees for 6.5 hours. The meat became super tender and delicious. For the finish, I steamed some beautiful bao buns. I picked some amazing red leaf lettuce and paired it with some sweet apples. The combination of flavors was phenomenal. For this dish, I used Chairman's Reserve Premium Pork Shank. It's super delicious and tender. First off, I started off by removing the skin. I gently scored the pork shank on all sides. Slow roasted it at 300 degrees for 3.5 hours. The meat is super tender and juicy at this point. For the finish, we let the product rest for about 20 minutes and then created amazing sweet chili glaze consisting of Korean Thai chili, maple, and soy. Brushed it on and then hit it with a torch to kind of caramelize all the flavors around the pork shank. This dish is barbacoa pork shank. Start off by skinning the pork shank, gently removing the skin from all sides. Once that was done, I reserved the skin for later use. Then the barbacoa shank was roasted at 325 degrees for 4 hours in a dry heat. And I added a generous amount to a red wine reduction. I paired this with an aged Gouda and a sweet potato bun. The outcome was a super sensational combination of flavor profiles with smoky tones. For this Oaxacan chorizo, I used Chairman's Reserve Premium Pork Cushion. The reason I used the cushion, it's super tender and sweet. I started off by grinding the pork and mixing it with guajillo and smoked tomato right before I sous vide it. I then took that beautiful skin from the pork shank, removed the fat, and fried it at 365 degrees for about 5 to 7 minutes. It didn't really pop and crisp up. The result is a super thin and tender chicharron. I then took that beautiful chorizo that was sous vide, removed it, and pan-seared it on all sides for about 10 minutes on low heat to create caramelization that really adds to the tenderness of the product. I paired the chorizo with an ancho orange sauce and crema amarga. The flavors work, sensational combination worked very well.